I mean, there is video of the ICE agent being hit with the SUV. Here to talk about that, former acting secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Chad Wolf. Chad, it's a pleasure to have you on. So you heard from Dan Goldman, the congressman, Mamdani. You know where they're going with this. They want a murder charge. What do you think about it?
Well, it's absurd. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking at. If you look at that video closely, you can see that the officers are giving that driver their instructions, probably either to turn her vehicle off or to step out of the vehicle. And clearly she doesn't do that. That is obstructing, and that is getting in the way and interference of a law enforcement officer. You have to take their direction. Look, you may not like it. She may be against ICE, but in the middle of the street is not the time to fight that fight and try to pull away from ICE. So Congressman Golden's comments of she was just trying to get away, no, that's actually not what you were supposed to do. You're supposed to adhere to the commands of law enforcement officers in this case, and then later at a different time, if you disagree with them, go fight that in court. Go do it somewhere else. But not in the middle of the street, in the middle of a very chaotic situation.
So, Chad, you used to lead DHS, also ICE here. What would your message be to ICE agents that are still on the ground in Minneapolis and all over the country here carrying out that important work that they're doing?
Yeah, their mission today is more important than it's ever been, and that DHS leadership and the president and others have their back. That's what they want to hear first and foremost, that there are those that are supporting them. Look, these ICE officers that go into places like Minneapolis, they understand what they're going into. They understand that threats are up on them by over 1,000%. They know that political leadership in that city does not want them there. They know that they will get no help from the local police department. And so with all that in mind, they still go in there. They still do their job. But when they get outnumbered like they did today, in a very chaotic situation, and someone decides to drive forward and possibly injure or kill them, then they have to take the appropriate action.
Chad, you know how these operations work. You know the state of Minnesota gave no help whatsoever. Tim Walz kept saying, I predict this, I'm going to predict this. Well, if you knew, Governor, that this was going to happen, you could have gave some support here. Do you think this could have easily, I want to say easily, been prevented with state help?
Well, it certainly could have been mitigated, yeah. I mean, the governor and the mayor continue to say, well, we knew this was going to happen. Well, then why didn't you do something about it? And basically, their policies are what is putting thousands of ICE officers in the streets. If they just would allow ICE to come into their jails, pick up illegal aliens, and remove them, then they wouldn't have this type of scene on their streets. But they refuse to do that. They refuse, or I should say, they continue to play politics over public safety. And this is the result. So. And of course, nowhere in their press conferences or their remarks today did they mention any of that.
Secretary Chad Wolf, always a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.